Kill me! I'm here! Kill me!
Hey everybody, this is Matthew Movies coming at you with my review of the John Carpenter sequel, Escape from LA, which came out in 1996 and is a sequel to the classic movie Escape from New York that I absolutely love. I am a huge John Carpenter fan, and I'm trying to review a bunch of his movies. Speaking of which, I've been really trying to find a copy of The Ward to track down, so if you have any idea where I might be able to find one, let me know in the comments below. But I have talked about several of his movies up until now because I'm a big fan. I mean, I've talked about The Thing, Escape from New York, as I just mentioned, and In the Mouth of Madness, They Live, several others, and I plan on talking about as many of his films as I can, but this movie is definitely one that I can't be nearly as excited about because to me, it just was such a disappointment. Now, there are parts of this movie that I really enjoy. I mean, first off, you get to see Snake Plissken again, which is just freaking awesome, right? And Kurt Russell's performance, I think, is every bit as good as in the original film. I think he absolutely kills it. He's just not given such great stuff as he was in the first one. His reactions to everything is great. He plays it very consistently. He's not like upping the ante. He is still very kind of monotone and quiet and reserved, but awesome and kick-ass, and still has the same kind of delivery. I thought he did a great job. There's a scene in this movie that I think is absolutely fantastic, and if there was more like it in this movie, I would have absolutely loved it, and that is the scene where they come across the surgeon of LA, where he's basically a plastic surgeon, who a lot of people don't realize was actually played by Bruce Campbell, the actor from the Evil Dead series, which is a series of films that I absolutely love, and it has the same kind of tone as the original Escape from New York, where it's kind of dark and goofy and over the top, but you also get a real feeling of foreboding while you're in it, and like danger and character, and the whole thing is freaking awesome, right? However, those two aspects aside, and there's one other moment that I thought was kind of interesting, which I'll touch on in a little bit. Those two elements aside, for the most part, this movie I thought absolutely sucked. First off, I hated the effects in this movie. I think they look so fake. And this isn't like, you know, this came out in 1996. We're now in 2017. Looking back, thinking that the effects look crap. I thought the effects looked like crap back then. I remember the moment where I saw this movie, I was like, are you kidding me? It was like the surfing moment with Peter Fonda. And I mean, if you have Peter Fonda in a movie, that should be awesome, right? I mean, Peter Fonda is such a great actor. But in this movie, he sucks. And it's not his fault. It's just the way his character's written, the effects, the setup around it, just the whole nine yards of that scene is just awful. I mean, Steve Buscemi is no Cabby, and Steve Buscemi is amazing in so many different roles, but he's just written in such a way where he doesn't have the charm and the panache of Cabby. I mean, don't get me wrong. When a sequel comes out, I don't think it's all about comparing it to the original, right? Because in most cases, there are very few sequels that live up to the original film. So I think if you're going to get bogged down in comparing it to the original, that could be a problem. However, at the same time, the original does exist, and when a movie clearly tries to go right down the same beats of a story, creating the same style of characters, the same style of story, the whole 9 yards, they force you to compare it to the original, and that's exactly what happens here. I mean, you have the same basic concept where this time LA has become much more of like a prison camp because of an earthquake that happened that broke it off from the rest of America, and Snake has to go in and save the day, just like this time. Instead of getting the president, he's looking for the president's daughter and looking for this, that, and the other thing. And then you have characters that are clearly comparable. Like I said, Steve Buscemi's character is clearly supposed to be close to Cabby in this, and then you have like there's Pam Grier's in this movie, and she's clearly supposed to be much more like the characters in Escape from New York, that are his buddies that he feels like kind of betrayed him. I'm trying to think of what the actors' names who play them, but I'm drawing a blank, so I'm looking it up here, as you probably can tell. Harry Dean Stanton and Adrienne Barbeau. She's supposed to be similar to that. Like, the whole 9 years, this movie is very, very comparable. And then the villain in this is very, very, very comparable. So they force your hand to really look at the original film, and in that, this film completely falls apart. Like I said earlier, there is one other element that I do like. There's a moment with basketball that comes off as very cheesy, where basically he's forced to get X amount of baskets within X amount of time or be killed, and on the face of it, it's really awful. But when you're actually watching it, it's amazing how much tension they actually get out of it, and that part for me personally works. But overall, this movie is a really severe disappointment. So, like, it just isn't a great Carpenter film, and there are so many. This is definitely one I would suggest people skip. If just go watch Escape from New York, pretend this doesn't exist, and maybe watch a couple scenes, the basketball scene, the surgeon scene, and other than that, just let this thing go. So those are my thoughts on Escape from LA. Let me know in the comments below what you think, if you liked it, if you hated it, if you think it's better than the original, in which case I think you are very different in your taste in movies than I am, what have you. Also, let me know if you know where I might be able to pick up the Ward to watch, because I really want to watch it to be able to review it, and I think it's Carpenter's most recent film. I know that it got sent out to a lot of people, so maybe it's available somewhere that I'm not aware of. Just let me know. Other than that, hit me up with a like, hit me up with a share button push. That way other people will find out that my videos are out there, and hopefully come and check them out, and hopefully subscribe. And speaking of which, if you are new here, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. That way you can find out when I put out new stuff and come and join the conversation. It just absolutely means the world to me. Other than that, have yourself a good day.